Do you want to bring the table over?
Is it on? Yeah, it's gone.
Okay, we can just cut what...
Yeah. Edit it out. Yeah.
Okay, how are we going to start this?
That's sounds like Axel's job to me.
This is episode 2. The first was filmed in math class.
Oh, that counts?
Like a year and a half ago.
What the fuck?
Year and a half is longer than that.
Year 13, yeah. Yeah, that would have been like 2.5.
So it was like the middle of the year though, right?
Yeah.
Is that, so there's a 2.5? Are we that old?
Wait, no.
It'll be 1 and
no,
2
no,
half
no.
years.
Wait, what?
1 and 2 halves is 2.
Yeah. No,
Wait.
like,
Wait,
Calendar year.
1 year ago was middle of... No, 1 year ago was start of
Middle of first
year.
Right,
No,
that's
1 year
all.
ago was start of
That's
first
all
year.
sick guess.
Because we're still in the start.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 1.5. No, Axel's right. Sorry.
Yeah, so second episode of how to do CPR. How to do CPR so that we don't get ads on YouTube.
Is that an actual thing? Is that like, so if you like pull up the tutorial, no one
Yeah,
dies?
I'm pretty sure. Like how to do
Really?
CPR, how to do the Heimlich maneuver, like all those like important things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't make money at all.
Yo, is my baby drowning? Like, if you get an ad on the YouTube video that tells you if it's drowning or not, that's pretty bad.
Speaking of drowning in babies, Joseph got raped recently.
What the fuck is that transitioning? Oh yeah, drowning babies. He got raped.
Drowning in babies.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so the idea of this podcast was for Joseph to explain how
I didn't get raped.
Yes, you did.
You're saying it like you did it. Well, okay. I feel like before you explain the incident,
we need to
You
explain
should
the
explain
we
the
need to
incident.
explain the
preacher.
person.
Okay.
Yeah.
The preacher?
Yeah.
We'll call him that. Yeah. Who gets the most annoyed by him?
Probably
I find it
Axel.
fine.
Axel was about to clock his shit.
Okay, you should explain him then.
Yeah. So because William and I, we have outside like windows so we can hear him. He like sits outside like every single day, like the whole day.
He's here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's there right now.
Just
if you
playing-
hear any like little
If you
sounds,
hear
it's
the
him.
propaganda speakers.
Yeah. All day, every day.
Yeah, he's
Blasting one song.
No. He's got some variety.
yeah.
He's
It-
got
There's like 3 different things. Okay.
90% of it
but
is Sunny
everything-
Come Home.
Backstreet Boys, Sunny Came Home,
Sunny
and it's
Came-
documentary.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
99%
the
of
South
the time
African
it's Sunny Came
documentary.
Home.
Yeah.
I've heard Gangster's Paradise twice.
Yeah, I
Really?
also heard
And there's
that.
also that one clip, I don't know what it's from, but it's from like some British drama show, maybe Coronation
Yeah.
Street or something. You adulterer! You horrid, horrible person!
Yeah.
I forgot, I don't know. Actually, no, I haven't forgotten.
You
It's
girls
stuck in my
are
mind.
such a bunch of girls. I seem to
Yeah.
remember.
And recently,
I don't
do you reckon
want
he's
you-
been getting louder as well?
That's getting louder.
Yeah. Like
He's sitting
yeah.
further away. as
because
well.
I reckon when
No, he's sitting by the bench right
no
now.
when his speaker got stolen,
It's just
I reckon he bought like a
He
bigger,
got a
louder
better
one.
one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
reckon.
Do you want to just
probably.
keep like cycling in speakers?
No, because
Not the one
bigger.
No, we should buy him headphones so that he just shuts the fuck up.
That is all, that's not bad anyway.
Yeah.
Well, we can do both.
Yeah.
But headphones wouldn't fix the other thing he does, which is he watches this like South. No, not that.
Not that.
We'll get there. He watches this like South African documentary about, I think, something to do with apartheid, some sort of race relations thing.
Yeah.
But there's this one clip of this like guy saying, "Shoot to kill," and this guy thinks it's awesome
And, yeah,
to
Akbark
repeat
says
that
"Blah"
line.
afterwards.
Oh yeah, woo-ah. This guy, we'll be like in the lounge playing Minecraft or something. We just hear him repeat like 15 times. Shoot to kill, woo-ah, shoot to kill.
Well, it's not bad when you're playing Minecraft.
But it's annoying
When you're trying to sleep.
you're sleeping or you're studying and he's just like blasting that shit.
Yeah.
It's either that or he's listening to himself
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
phone with like a social worker or a police
Yeah, like
officer.
a
or
phone
something.
call like that he's like recorded the audio.
Yeah.
No,
He's
he
like
no, he talks
very
to his brother.
distraught.
He talks to his brother on the phone.
One of them's definitely.
Wait,
like,
is this him
a
listening
woman.
to
So
a
he's-
recording?
He's talking to his brother. Because the first time I talked to him, he was on the phone with his brother. You remember that?
I don't know.
And he was saying how like 5 people have tried to kill him.
Yeah, he does. He does say that a lot.
Yeah.
I
Everyone's
didn't hear that part.
Did you
Really?
know that?
Oh, he
Like
he
in
said
that
that a few
prison?
times.
said that heaps of times.
But he
He's been in
definitely
prison.
listens to recordings of phone
Oh,
calls with
no,
him
that-
in it, really loud.
That just makes it sound worse now. Maybe I was.
You definitely were, bro.
Oh.
Yeah, so George heard about the story before I did, but I heard about it in the gym. Like, Joseph was like telling me, like, his interaction with this
So,
dude.
okay. Yesterday night, I was coming back home. It was like 11 p.m. Yeah, 11. This guy, okay, we don't know, right? But our theory is that he does have somewhere to live, because he does go home eventually, and then come back the next day.
Well, no, he slept on the bench once.
And like,
Okay.
he has enough
like
money to
once.
buy like cigarettes and alcohol all the time.
Consistent. Oh yeah, he's always
Yeah.
drinking. He's like waving his beer
The
around while
tall
listening to
cans
Sunny
of Asahi.
came home. Tall cans of Asahi and
Or
smoking.
like the strong like Hagen ones, like the
Right.
silver ones.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
But yeah, he was
Or-
walking home.
Whiskey straight
Oh.
from the bottle.
Yeah, so I came in 11. I saw him on the way out. Yeah, I was just sort of earphones in, listening to a podcast, minding my own business, and I saw him. I think he was like signaling me, right? So I turned around. You know, I'm like, huh? I'm thinking he's trying to talk to me. He says, "Oh, I was just trying to say hello," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, hello." And then he says, "Oh, you look quite fit. I've been trying to get stronger," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." I'm thinking, you know, maybe if this guy's trying to better himself, trying to get stronger, maybe he'll eventually get to a position where he's not sitting outside our house doing that every day. So I'm like, oh, okay, you've been lifting weights and stuff, you know, thinking I might have a little conversation about.
Yeah, because like also
Jimmy.
we don't know much about him. Like what we know is just pieced together. So
Yeah.
like I guess like some parts of me like wants to talk to him to like figure out like what the story is. But then again, I also don't want to like
Yeah. I
have it
personally
like yeah.
You
Try
don't
my
want him
best
to
not to
think
talk to
he's your
him.
friend
Yeah.
because we
He's
live
never-
here. Oh! He's playing the shoot to kill audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like it makes sense that you would want to like maybe say
yeah.
some things to
you
him.
know, have some sort of compassion. Anyway, so I think I'm getting in a conversation with him about working out, getting stronger, right? So he, you know, then he says, "Oh, you're probably stronger than me. Let's compare." And I'm thinking, oh, okay, I guess I'm gonna have an arm wrestle with him or something. Then what he does is he
Wait, hang on. Did he tell you that he's gay like before this?
No. I'll explain. Okay. So he lifts his leg up, and he's like, "Oh, push down on my leg with all your weight, and I'll try and like resist you. I'll try to keep my leg up." And I'm like, "Okay, never seen this as like a measure of strength, but I guess that yeah, sure, whatever." So I'm pushing. I do it. I push down on his leg. There's a bit of resistance, but eventually I get his leg down on the ground.
What convinced you to touch his leg?
I don't know, bro. I was just rolling with it. It was just happening. Anyway, then he's like, okay, now I'm gonna try to do it to you. So I lift up my leg. He's like pushing. I don't know if he's going all out, but basically I'm able, like, I can feel resistance. I do have to put some effort into keeping my leg up.
Joseph, he's easily over 130 kilos. He's not going all out.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
were you just balancing on one leg? Like, were you holding on?
Oh no, we're leaning against the wall.
Okay.
Yeah, but I tried to bounce at first, and he knocked me over. He's like, "Oh yeah, leaning against the wall." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." He's pushing down. He doesn't manage to get my leg down, you know. So he's like, "Oh wow, you're stronger than me," and I'm like, "Oh okay, cool." And he's like, "Let's do the other ones now." So I'm just like,
So for some reason he agrees.
yeah. For some reason, I agree. I'm just curious as to where this is going. So I do that. I do the other one. Right.
Where could it be going?
Maybe an arm wrestle. I mean, that would be a funny story.
Okay.
I mean, this is a funny.
It's going to the
Funny
podcast.
is-
That's
you
where
could
it's going.
wrestle-
This is a story. This is
It's
a
not
story
funny,
for sure.
bro.
Yeah,
It is funny, but like not for you.
I found it pretty funny.
I found it
I'm
fucking
glad
funny as
that's
well.
the take home.
Yeah.
But I'm happy
I'm-
that
I'm-
it didn't happen to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it could have, I wouldn't have minded it's happened to like William or something, and then he could tell me.
I wouldn't have gotten myself in
Yeah,
this
we wouldn't have gotten
situation.
ourselves in that situation. You're the only one who would go through with all
You
of
say that now, but you've never been in that position. You don't know how tempting it is to like.
No, it's not.
Tempting for him.
It's just a random dude in a dark alleyway.
At night.
Wait, where? Like right in the corner.
Yeah, just by the tree. Like,
in Myers Park, often known as
Yeah.
the sketchiest park in Auckland.
you know, like I was walking back through Pitt Street, which
Yeah.
is by the tree.
But like by the graffiti and stuff.
Yeah, by the graffiti. Yeah.
That's like the sketchiest part.
I mean, I walk through there all the time. It is
No,
fun.
the Pitt Street is like the public housing is there. Like there's
Yeah,
always like
it's
crackings
not-
there outside. Yeah.
Anyway, so we're pushing. Where was I? Okay, yeah, I get him down. He's like, "Whoa, you're stronger than me," and he's like, "Can I feel your leg?" And I'm like, "I've got long pants on, by the way. I haven't got shorts on." But I'm like, "Sure." And he's like, "Flex your leg. I want to feel it." And I do it because I'm just like curious as to where this goes. He's like holding my leg, and he's like, "Whoa, that's 100% muscle. That's pure muscle. You're so strong."
So he's just feeling your leg.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's like, "Are you flexing?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm a bit drunk, by the way, whatever." And then he does it, and he's like, "Can I do it again?" I'm like, "Sure."
Why
okay."
the fuck would you say that?
So he does it again, and then he's like moving up to feel the muscle, and he's like, "Oh, just tell me if it's like goes too far." He's like, I'm not trying to be like gay or weird or anything." He's like, "I am gay, by the way," and I'm like, I'm there, and I'm like, okay, because I'm trying to be not supportive of it. I probably went too far with this, like.
Oh really?
Yeah. And I'm like, "Oh, it's all good, bro. Like, I've got a friend who's gay, and you know, you can just do normal stuff and it not be gay." And then, oh, this is wild.
Yeah.
After I say I've got a friend who's gay, he says, "Can you hook me up?" And I'm like, "No, he has a boyfriend. No." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And and then basically, he does the leg thing like 3 more
You
times.
told me that story differently last night, by the way.
What?
I mean, you gave me.
Oh yeah, I gave you his number and like a little picture of you that I keep in my wallet.
And like your address and like
Yeah, and your
where
address.
your
I just
parents
pointed.
live,
Yeah.
and like your daily schedule.
But yeah, that happened, and then he asked to feel my leg more like 3 more times,
So you
Yeah.
agreed for him to touch your leg 3 more times.
something like that. Yeah.
Wrong way.
Joseph, you could have left after the 0.
I don't know. And
I
then
don't know.
and then like each time he'd be like, "Oh, I'm not trying to be gay. Like, sorry, I'll not be gay. Just tell me if I go too far." I'm like, "Okay." And I didn't ever feel threatened, which is why I let it happen. I was like, "Okay, I could just shove this guy if I ever felt like it."
Oh yeah, I'll just like stop him molesting me when I feel like it.
So then after that, we're just like standing like a meter apart. I'm about to leave, and he goes like, "Oh, I bet you've got abs." And I'm like, "Nah, not really." He's like, "Oh, prove it. I bet you've got abs." And he's like, "Lift up your shirt a little." I'm like, "Okay." I like lift up a little. And I'm like intentionally making my stomach look as like round as possible. He's like, "Oh yeah, you got abs." I'm like, not really, bro. Like deep down, yeah, but not there. And he's like, "Nah, you do." I'm like, "Okay, man." And then I just leave, and he's like, he's like, well, I'm like 5 meters away. He's like, "Oh," well, like 5 to 10 meters. He's like, "Oh, by the way, I wasn't gonna do anything gay. Like, I didn't want to grab your cock earlier." And I'm like. Okay, I'm just trying to play chill. I'm like, okay, you wouldn't have felt much muscle on there anyway. And then, see, here's like, okay, I was far enough away that I didn't hear this clearly, so I'm not too sure. But I think he might have said, after I said you wouldn't have felt much muscle, it was, he said, or he might have said, what was it? "I bet yours is harder than mine."
Like
What?
at that moment, or
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you be hard, bro?
Yeah. No, like, I don't know. Maybe he was talking about my leg muscle or something, hopefully. But yeah, that's what happened with him.
what if he has muscle memory and he just remembers you from your muscle?
Because wait, did you
Well,
the fuck does that mean?
what
No, yeah,
situation
muscle
is he
memory.
gonna like?
Muscle memory.
Touch my leg again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he asked
If
nicely?
it happened once, it can happen again.
Like, what time was that? Because when you came back, was I
It's
already
11
in bed?
p.m.
Yeah. Because like, so that same evening, like before, he was playing like really loud shit outside my window.
Oh yeah.
Because my window's like right where he's sitting, and like, so I'm in bed, I'm sleeping. I have like no clothes on, so I'm like, alright, if I'm gonna go downstairs, like tell this guy to shut up, I'm gonna put some clothes on. So, you know, I don't have any clean t-shirts, so I go down shirtless. You know,
Big
like,
mistake.
oh well, I don't know that this dude is going to molest Joseph after this.
Just to
And I
clarify,
don't- yeah.
I was like the opposite of Axel. When I was walking down, I had long pants on and like a hoodie. So he just said I looked fit without actually being able to see my body. But yeah, anyway, sorry, you continue
So-
your bit.
Yeah, so I'm shirtless. I'm like, oh, can you like, you know, turn them? Like, it takes me like a while to get his attention because he's just playing his music.
He's drunk as shit.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh, sorry, I'll turn it down. And he like tries to keep talking to me, but I just turn around and go back inside. And then you know, like William
Wait,
was
did
up
you
as
tell
well.
him you had an exam? Like a
Yeah,
test?
yeah.
Oh.
Well, fair enough.
Just like, you know, just to try and get.
Yeah.
I don't study anyway, but you know, just because I'm
It's a
sleeping,
good
you know, I
excuse
want
to
to go to
have, yeah.
sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I tell him that, he turns the music off, and say, oh, did you tell him to shut up? I'm like, yeah, so, you know, we like thought it worked. I'm like laying in bed, and then he goes fucking right back to it, like playing, like, what was he playing? Yeah, that, and something else, he's,
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
The Way You Love Me.
yeah, like, you know, he's playing his music again. So I go down again, you know, again with no shirt on. He's like, oh, you have a really good shape. Like, oh, you're really muscly. Like, I am gay, but like, I'm not trying to flirt with you or anything. So I'm like, oh, just please just fucking stop playing your music, you know. And you know, I once again leave because like I don't want to like interact with this dude like more than I have to.
I'm kind of worried he can hear us, man.
Well, I don't care.
Well-
Hopefully he shuts up.
It'll
Yeah.
be a lesson that like people take note of what you do and
Yeah,
talk about it.
If we're lucky, he will be shit-faced and won't remember.
You might hear our podcast on his phone and speak it.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
First follower of the preacher. We call this guy the preacher, by the way, because if you accidentally talk to him, he'll, you know,
Yeah,
solve
you
the
like,
savior
yeah, you have to
Yeah.
leave. Yeah.
Or either that, or
Or he'll
if
touch you.
You're
Yeah.
a tremoless.
I think he only does that if you like fucking go along with it.
Yeah.
Like any normal person, bro, would just not let
Easiest
himself be
victim.
molested.
Right
I
here.
don't know, bro. I got a good story out of it.
Like,
You shouldn't be able to get a good story.
do
out of
you
it.
think you got molested?
I didn't until you said your thing. No, you didn't mention what
Yeah.
you heard before you came down. Remember?
What do you mean?
That
Oh,
is-
The other guy.
yeah, no, so, like, the reason, so when I went down the first time and told him to, like, turn his music off, he kept playing it, and then the second time he stopped. And then, I think the only reason he kept it off is because he was like, I could hear him talking to someone else. And, you know, it was having, like, a conversation, it, like, sounded like another guy. And, like, the whole time, like, during the conversation, he was, like, always apologizing and saying that he's not trying to be weird. And then,
He
like,
does that a lot.
Sounds familiar.
yeah. And then the other dude was like, I heard him say, okay, I think that's like my sign to leave, and he just like left. So he probably like tried something else with someone else as well. But like, yeah. I mean, we can't hate on the guy. Like,
No,
Yes,
we
we
can.
maybe he was hypnotized to think that like molesting dudes is like safe.
Okay.
Or, you know, like maybe, you know.
In the moment, I just got the vibes of like, you know, when you've got like your,
You got-
you know, when your
you
mate's
got
drunk,
molested.
right? No, you know, when your mate's drunk, right? And they're in the mood to like do dumb shit, like push each other's legs down. And that was the other thing. We were also
But
talking
not
about
like-
how
Not like to a
alcohol.
random stranger, and every time you say, "Oh, dude, I'm not gay," but like, can I touch you?
No.
Like,
Okay. Here's my logic. Right?
There's no logic in that.
Okay, when sometimes people get in the mood when they're drunk to like do dumb shit, like
that's
push
the
each other's
rule.
legs and like compliment random dudes, like to try and be supportive. You know, you're like, bro, you're pretty like. I've done it before.
you
I
get
got a
that-
beer out of it. I was like,
you
bro,
get that walking down like Queen Street. Like,
yeah,
that's
you look
so
cool.
good.
Like I'm not
Yeah,
gay,
yeah,
but you look
sure.
cool. You know, like I was hoping that that's his logic, huh?
The fact that he had to say he's not gay. Like,
No,
The
he
fact
said
that
he's
went
gay,
back 4 times.
but he wasn't being gay.
yeah. Like, bro, that's a little bit sus.
Smidgen, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. Looking back, it's
But his hand,
Just like
his
if-
hand is creeping up your
Joseph,
upper thigh. and
Just
you're
imagine
yes,
like
do it
if you were a
again.
girl and he was straight.
Oh yeah, if I was a girl, hell no, bro. Like
That would have been like actual like.
that would have been so bad.
police
Yeah. Which
involved.
yeah.
What's the
Deservedly
difference?
so.
There is no difference.
There is no
The,
difference.
okay, the only difference is that I feel more physically confident in my physical abilities.
Yeah, you
Because
could,
I'm
like, you
just
could
a
have
bit
really
bigger
easily
than
ran
the
away or
average
possibly
woman.
like
Yeah, that guy probably can't run.
push them over.
That is one. But it's just like the fact that if you were like, what's the average girl size? For like 60 kilos?
Oh,
Way less.
50?
It's
If
just
that.
like
50, if that.
How much do you weigh?
I don't know.
Okay,
53.
53? Sure, well, let's say 50, right? If you're 50 kilos and this dude who's like 2.5 times your size was doing that, you could understand the fear.
how were you not scared?
Yeah, Joseph.
He's
I'm
only
like
twice
70
my
kilos.
So not 2.5 size.
Yeah,
Just 2.
I don't know.
But Joseph has like fairly vascular biceps.
So if it happens,
There you go.
if it happens again, how far are you going? How keen are you?
Yeah, how far are you gonna let
Okay,
him like
okay.
molest
If
you?
he like acknowledges you, are you taking out your headphones or are you just quickening your pace?
I'm
next time?
quickening my pace.
Well,
That's-
you won't recognize him because muscle memory is touch his legs.
yeah.
That's the other thing I'm worried about. Is like if he was drunk enough that he can if he wasn't drunk enough that he can remember my face if he sees me like out on the balcony
Yeah.
I think
doing my washing or
What
something.
you mean to say is, now that he's groomed you, you don't want him to think that
Do it
you're
again.
a target. 'cause
Yep.
Because
That's
we,
just what happened.
we live here and he's always there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He
basically our
lives here
neighbor.
too.
The only difference though is that if push came to shove, we could get him kicked out. At least
Kicked
for a
out?
night.
What do you mean? It's
Of
public.
mine.
Like,
No,
like
but
get a
you're- no,
restraining
he's-
order or something.
You're not allowed to drink there.
You're not allowed
That
to
is
drink there.
illegal.
You're
not allowed to
annoy-
like piss
blast
there.
music past 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could get him moved on if we really need it.
But he'd
Yeah,
just come
this
back.
is there.
Like,
Yeah, he would come
Yeah.
back.
He would.
yeah. So like the only we had like a period of like a week maybe where someone stole the speaker and it was
Yeah.
quiet.
And then you got a better speaker.
Yeah. So if we steal his speaker, is he
And-
gonna get a better one or like
If we steal the speaker and give him a shit one, then maybe he won't bother.
how would we be like?
No,
oh,
but-
I
Headphones.
heard someone stole your
Headphones.
speaker. Here's one.
Oh no, like
He'll
we
know that
we,
we
we
stole it.
sneak
like-
up and
we-
like swap them Indiana Jones style.
Or we like strategically place a little one by the nang tree.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So he finds it and then uses it.
Yeah.
No, but he's
Unless
Christian,
one of
so
the
he wouldn't
emos
steal
takes
it.
Why not just headphones?
He doesn't have any other Christian values.
Yeah, he touches people, bro.
Is that not what priests do anyways?
Yeah. Preacher's
The
a pretty
preacher.
good name actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, priests, not preacher.
Yeah.
Are we calling him priest from now on?
I think priest would be better actually. Like the
Yeah, but
priest.
He's not
He-
a priest.
he just
he's
preaches.
not a
No,
priest.
he
Yeah.
preaches. Like,
Yeah, but like
He wouldn't be
Christopher,
accepted by like
he
any.
does.
preachers don't generally touch people, but priests on the other hand.
Yeah. Mm. So, yeah, our possible
That's that.
solution is dress up as Spider-Man and steal a speaker, or like take some kind of proper like normal legal action,
or
just like leave
ignore
him
him.
there. But
He's aside from
'Cause
like
last night-
threatening
that was last
to
night,
blow up cops with his gun finger.
During exam times, we have to get rid of them because there is no
Maybe.
way.
Yeah. Well, that's
it's
why
like, yeah.
I reckon if we
Or-
do.
or-
Well, okay, good point. Should we take action sooner rather than later? We'll do
Nah.
10 minutes
No,
and
because
tests.
here's the thing.
It's
Like,
tests.
the legal action is definitely a temporary one, realistically. At least the first few times.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna tell him to leave. He's gonna come back tomorrow, like he always does. Whatever. Stealing a speaker is also something that could be temporary. It's gonna last longer.
Yeah.
But like you said, after a week, it was probably because that week he wasn't coming to Myers Park every day and drinking. So he saved up the would-be booze
Yeah.
money to buy another speaker.
Yeah.
So I reckon if for action we save it for
No,
when
but
we
you
need
make it off. You steal it again and again and again. You make Myers Park not desirable.
Yeah.
Oh,
You just make his life really long.
Mm.
All
Or
we need to do is hire another
But-
guy.
but-
No,
to
no.
play a
we
different
don't make
song.
enemies.
instead of
Piss
hiring
off.
people, I reckon we train like magpies or something to like attack him. I feel like that could be pretty cool. Like if
Yeah.
he's
We could
Yeah.
put a cage in the balcony, just like keep sending them down.
No, you would just like have like a bell or something.
this is
can,
why
like,
we
ring
should
and
have
it,
kept
like-
the wasp.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
wasp.
Shit.
Yeah, no, yeah, he would have been pretty good. The wasp.
Yeah.
Although I don't think it took him ages to get out of the bottle. when I
Yeah, because
did
he was
actually
drunk
let
as
him out.
shit. Oh,
no,
that
when
one.
I like set him free.
Yeah. Oh,
he
yeah,
was also living in a bottle for 3 days.
after a party, we were like cleaning up, and on the balcony, someone had left an open soju bottle, and there was this wasp just in it.
Just really drunk.
Yeah,
like,
he was like
flying,
trying
really
to get out, but
badly.
he couldn't get out.
Yeah.
So then we did the natural thing, transferred him into a big plastic bottle, cut air holes, gave him some water, gave him some jam, and kept
to
him
eat.
for 3 days.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Because like wasps can live for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You could
So,
have
like-
frozen and like tied
That's
them
like a
up.
That
5-year
is another
sentence.
thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or
That
we
would've
just
been so
collect a
cool.
whole bunch of wasps and freeze them, just store them for later.
Do
and
they
just
no? Do they last longer if you freeze them, or do
Yes.
they just get sleepy?
No. They do like freeze, go into like a cryogenic sleep.
not indefinitely.
Okay,
I
yeah,
thought-
yeah,
I
I
thought
know,
you
but
just-
they last a while.
I thought you
Yeah.
just put them
You
in the
can't
fridge
do that.
to like.
Yeah, no,
Just
I
slow them-
think
just
you just cool
immobilize
them
them.
down a bit.
No, you
Yeah.
can freeze.
No, but they go to sleep. They go into like a little coma.
Like a hibernation.
But if you
Yeah.
put them in the
Yeah.
freezer, they die.
No,
Okay, I don't know. I don't know if it's fridge or
freezer.
freezer, but I know it's a strategy.
And
Like
you
no,
can-
like
You can tie some like fishing wire.
that's
to
what
their
people
leg.
Okay,
do.
but-
Yeah, exactly.
If we have frozen wasps and like we need to use them,
That's
gonna
what
take a
we
while
got
to
the
defrost
microwave.
Yeah, microwave.
microwave just
And
wasps,
then if cartoons have taught me anything, we'll have mutant wasps to attack this guy with.
Do we want
Yeah,
mutant
yeah.
wasps in our
Blast them
house?
with the radiation.
in our microwave. What the hell?
Cannot go wrong.
Bro, I feel like if I was small enough to fit inside a microwave, or if I had one of those giant
Or
microwaves.
if the microwave was big
yeah,
enough.
yeah. If I had a giant microwave, every time I'd look at it, I'd be like so tempted to hop in it and like turn it on just to see what happens.
Are you tempted to just lock yourself in the fridge? Like, that's basically the equivalent.
No, because
Well, no,
microwaves
microwave would, like-
might make you explode.
Have you always wanted to do that? Like, because, like, you're kind of like increased in size, you know? Like when
You're
you were a
saying as a
child.
baby.
Yeah. Did you want to like go inside like microwaves? Did you?
He's thinking a bit hard about this one, more than I'd like.
No,
No.
I think because I didn't understand how they work.
Fair enough.
All right. So you wouldn't go in a microwave.
No, I would. No, I would be tempted to.
Okay.
It depends how strong my will is.
Even
Would you
so currently, if you were able to put it in a microwave, would you go inside it?
I would look at it for 5 seconds and then turn around and say, no, not today.
So, are you tempted to like throw yourself in front of a bus?
Or is it like
No, it's because microwaves are exciting.
No, because if you stand in the right spot, it won't cook you. You'll just be inside of it. You know how like there's spots where it's cold?
Yeah, there
that's
are.
a big gamble though.
But,
You gotta find it, so you're running around.
That's why you sent Joseph
Okay,
in first.
you know, like, you know, you know the feeling when you're like standing on a cliff edge, right, or like a high
Yeah,
ledge, and you're
yeah.
like, it's like,
Yeah,
what
I
if
know what
I
you mean.
decide I want to jump?
off. Yeah.
Bro, are you suicidal?
No, no.
I
yeah, I
get
get
that.
you, I
know
get
that.
They get it, yeah.
Yeah.
He's an engineer, so he really gets it. But it's kind of like that, except like it's a microwave.
Yeah. I had a whole like notes
Okay.
like on my laptop about that. Like
What?
I had like a
Standing inside a microwave?
no, not standing inside a fucking microwave. Like being like on the edge of something, and just like you could just jump off, you know.
Yeah,
And then like because we used to cliff jump a lot, like in year 12 and stuff.
yeah.
Like
Into water.
yeah. And then one time I was
But you can only cliff
I was
jump.
with Luke.
not
Was I
more
with
than
you
once.
as well? And we
Um,
were like up on like Arkles and by the cliff, and I like stood on a
Arkles?
branch and it like broke and fell like really far down.
nah, I wasn't there.
Oh, well that happened, and then like that night or like the next week or so, I had like heaps of dreams where I was like stuck like really high, like couldn't get down,
Damn.
and then like I like for like a small amount of time got like a fear of heights. So like I think that might have been like a survival mechanism
Yeah.
from like all like the close encounters like I had just like
Damn.
being on cliffs, that my body was like, all right, let's freak this dude out, and like
Yeah,
yeah.
make him stop.
Yeah. And then we just went and jumped in that canyon, the quarry.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no.
How many meters was that? It looked,
100.
Yeah.
Nah,
Oh yeah.
it could have been like 12.
It looks like 15-ish.
It was.
It was pretty high.
I wouldn't go any higher.
Well, if you did that, you could probably do higher.
No, because I like jumped wrong and fucked up my leg.
Yeah, you were limping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because you have to psych yourself up, and then make sure you hit the water properly, and then make sure you don't hit the bottom because it wasn't that deep. But I only had enough mental capacity to do 2, so one. I psyched myself up enough to jump off, and then hit the bottom and landed on the water wrong. So
Yeah. Speaking of bottoms, next podcast episode we're gonna invite drunk Joseph on to tell us about why he passed out with no clothes on, butt cheeks up in Kaylee's bathroom with a shit in the toilet.
That wasn't me. It was
Yeah,
someone
that's
else.
why we're gonna invite drunk
It
Joseph.
was
for the
evil
next
Joseph.
podcast.
Yeah, it was
And
evil.
possibly one of his ass.
What?
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 We're gonna have to find out next time.